Hey folks, today I want to talk about something that's been around for a really long time, and that's loan sharking. So I want to talk about the history of loan sharking, the people that they targeted, and the comparison to the modern day industry of payday loans. Sit back, relax, let's do a little dive into some shady business practices. So let's go back to the late 1800s. United States law limited interest rates, making small business loans unprofitable for banks. Then came salary lenders, shady businesses offering small high-interest loans to reliable borrowers with steady incomes. How do they operate? Well, these lenders targeted workers with good reputations to avoid defaults. They used seemingly legitimate contracts and threats of public shaming, including contacting employers, to pressure repayment. You got to remember that these contracts actually weren't legally binding, but most people wouldn't take the risk of suing these companies. How did these lenders thrive? Well, there were lax regulations. Penalties for illegal lending were mild, and borrowers couldn't afford to sue. There was a focus on reliable borrowers, targeting low-risk borrowers, minimized defaults and collection costs. Preying on vulnerability, they exploited the social stigma of debt and potential job loss to ensure repayment. Basically, these lenders knew who to go after. At the time, they wanted to target people with good, steady jobs because they knew that person wouldn't want to risk losing that good, steady job. Fast forward to the 20th century, then you got the gangster loan sharks. So there was shifting tactics. With new laws restricting traditional methods, loan sharks turned to violence to enforce debts. They had new clientele. They catered to high-risk borrowers like gamblers, criminals, and struggling businesses whom legal lenders wouldn't touch. They positioned themselves as the bank for the little guy, where if you couldn't get loans or money from financial institutions, you could get it from us. And there was an organized crime involvement. The mafia and other syndicates saw loan sharking as a lucrative business, offering high interest loans backed by the threat of violence. So hey, the mobsters got involved and they realized that they can make a lot of money with this by just being violent. Over time, there was a shift to businesses. Loan sharks focused on businesses with assets that could be seized if they defaulted. Violence became less common. Even with legal alternatives like payday loans, unlicensed loan sharks continued to operate, targeting immigrants, low-income communities, and those deemed high risk by legal lenders. We've all seen the stereotypical loan shark, whether it be on TV or movies. The shady guy with little money, he offers you a loan for whatever it is you need, and if you don't pay back that loan in time or with the proper interest, you risk having your legs broken or your business vandalized or something. It's extortion. This way of making money has been around for a very long time. The problem is it hasn't gone away. And that's where we get to the payday loan situation. Payday loans are often advertised as a quick fix for unexpected financial shortfalls. They can trap borrowers in a cycle of debt. Let's delve into this industry, the predatory practices, and how it resembles the age-old issue of loan sharks. So what's a payday loan? Payday loans are short-term, high-interest advances, typically for $500 or less, with repayment due on the borrower's next payday. While they seem like a lifeline during emergencies, they come with exorbitant fees. Instead of interest rates, payday lenders charge upfront fees, often amounting to an annual percentage rate exceeding 300%. Think about that. That is insane. Let's talk about the payday lending debt trap. Imagine this. Sarah needs $200 to tide her over until payday. A payday lender offers a seemingly easy solution, but with a $40 fee. However, on payday, Sarah struggles to repay the full $240. The lender offers a solution, renewal, which means paying another $40 fee to defer the repayment for another period. This cycle spirals, trapping Sarah in a debt treadmill. Payday lenders have predatory practices. Here's how they exploit people's vulnerabilities. They use deceptive marketing. They downplay the high cost and focus on the speed and ease of access. No affordability checks. They rarely assess the borrower's ability to repay, ensuring a high chance of default and repeat borrowing. They use aggressive collection tactics. They may use robocalls and threats to pressure repayment. They target vulnerable borrowers. They often operate in low-income communities where residents have limited access to mainstream financial services. Many of the things I just mentioned were many of the same tactics that loan sharks used in the past. This industry has not gone away. It's only evolved. And of course, states have had regulatory changes when it comes to payday lenders. Unlike loan sharks who operate outside the law, payday lenders function legally, albeit with varying regulations across different regions. Efforts to curb predatory practices include interest rate caps. Some states set limits on payday loan APRs to prevent excessive costs. Regulations might restrict the number of times a borrower can renew a loan, preventing the debt spiral. Alternative lending models. Initiatives promote responsible, small dollar loan options with lower fees and longer repayment terms. While payday loans may offer a quick fix, the high cost and predatory practices can worsen financial situations. Regulations and responsible lending models are crucial to protect borrowers. Understanding the payday loan industry and its parallels to the loan sharks empowers individuals to make informed financial decisions and seek alternatives when faced with financial hardships. Now that we've got the history out of the way, let me give some of my opinions. This industry is disgusting. They target the most vulnerable people and put them in a debt trap that it's hard for them to get out of. These businesses are located predominantly in neighborhoods where the people have a hard time making ends meet, which just makes it more despicable. It's almost like the old stereotype, which isn't really a stereotype, about there always being liquor stores in black communities. Because it's a thing. It's there for a reason. And it's almost like, even though there are people who visit those liquor stores, there are also people who say, man, why is that liquor store here? It's causing us more alcoholism. Why are there liquor stores here but no grocery stores? It doesn't make any sense. It's the same way with these payday lenders. They're targeting people. They're causing people to go into more debt that they seemingly have to pay off with more debt. And it's just ruining their credit. And we can say whatever we want about the credit industry, about who it's for and who it's not. The fact remains, you still need good credit. You may come across hard times. Even me as a young soldier back in Fort Benning, Georgia, in the late 90s, I used a payday loan, I think once or twice, and quickly realized this wasn't a good idea. And some people aren't able to get out of that cycle. And I really feel bad for them. Honestly, it's a lack of financial education and literacy. And of course, just being targeted. If a company wants to get money out of you, they figure out a way to do it the most effective way to do it. And these payday lenders figured it out. Luckily, some states have tried to curb the impact of the payday lenders. I just know that, me personally, I just hate seeing them on every corner in black neighborhoods or just minority neighborhoods or in cities that have a very high minority population. It's just not good. It's not a good look. And I really wish that maybe even in schools that financial literacy was something that was taught from a young age to really help people stay away from predatory lenders and making better decisions with their money. I am by no means some money genius, but I know that 300% interest is a bad move. That's just me on my little soapbox today. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with more. Thanks.